Welcome back to another episode of Who Am I to Judge podcast. I'm Alexis.
I'm Samantha. Welcome back to our year-long podcast at this point.
I'm very, very proud of
Our
us.
podcast just turned 1 year old, guys.
How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel still having fun, still have lots of goals and stuff to come, but yeah, I feel really proud of us. TBH.
Consistent. Like, we have not missed a week.
Yeah. Even
That's
when
crazy.
We were about to.
Even when, not even that, just even when we traveled, even when we, holidays came.
Right.
All of that, we didn't miss a week. Like, I am very proud.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed, friend. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling impressed too. Like, I'm proud of us for going consistent for a week. For not a week, for a year. I'm excited for the next level of this because I do think that we have something good here.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep at it.
That was like one of my questions I had for us towards the end, but I feel like you could do it now. Like, what are your hopes for the pod? Do you have any hopes?
Monetizing the pod and
for money.
Yeah, because I feel like you have something good. So I feel like just monetizing. What about you?
I agree. Just letting this pop up. Like, I'm ready for it to have more listeners, monetizing. Just really becoming the thing that we know that it can be. So
absolutely. Yeah. Becoming like a full-fledged, I don't know what the word would be. Like, we are a brand, but you know what I mean? Like a full-fledged, boom pod.
Yes. I want this. I mean, if this can be my full-time job, I would love that. Or at least a big portion of my income.
Well, we have to move it, but yeah, I get you. But yes, 1 year. What's your favorite episode that we've done for this year in reflection?
That's funny. Having Danielle on is always funny to me because it's just our dynamic is just so funny. I don't know. And then the memorable ones are when we talked through the Cowboy Carter album. That was one of our first, and all our talks about Normani and Beyonce, and we talked about a lot.
Girl, this podcast has done a lot. Okay, it has caused drama at times. It's brought people back together. It's healed the world. I feel like for me, one of my favorite episodes is reviewing Normani's album because a lot of people loved that one randomly.
Yeah, you're right.
And then I think, I don't know. Whenever we talk about our personal lives, it's always interesting because I feel like it's cool to think about the real life issues and then how it applies to your just things that are going on in the world, and then we somehow get back to ourselves. I love that. But I think Normani sticks out because it was just, we were so excited. Now we're pissed, but we were so excited for her, and I feel like she had us literally we were ready for the launch. We were ready for the takeoff. It
was such a great we were on the launching pad, ready.
We were ready. She was in that freaking rocket ship, and we were ready to go, and she just completely blew it. But I remember we were so happy, doing it, and so
yes, because we finally got something from her.
Right, and now she's giving nothing. But anyway,
I was also gonna say all of the Kendrick beef, that was funny to follow.
That was really fun to follow. That's true.
That was just funny. But anyways,
let's get to it. Well, I'll ask you who's on trial. Samantha's gonna ride the ship today.
Yes, I am. So I feel like we should quickly touch on the Oscars. I also did not watch the Oscars. I'm surprised that you didn't. I feel like you're an Oscars girly.
I just I don't know. It was something about this year. I was I didn't watch most of the movies. I was kind of just I feel like it's just not I just wouldn't be interested. You know, I was like, I feel like with the Grammys, like most of the albums I knew, I was ready. This,
Yeah.
it's like I care more about TV shows than movies. That's like always been my thing. And so
Gotcha.
I feel like I was just kind of like, whatever. Like I'm here for the Wicked shit, but then Wicked only won for costumes, which were great. But I'm like, there were so many more, so I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. I like tried to watch, and I was just like, this is
Snooze
boring.
fest.
But I did catch the opener, which was Ariana and Cynthia Erivo. Excuse me, sorry, I keep on burping. Doing, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and then Home,
Yep.
and then Defying Gravity. I was like, me and Danielle watched it together. I was like, is she gonna do it? And she was like,
you know what? This is my thing. I was a little disappointed when I saw it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. This is the thing. It's me saying this takes nothing away from their talent. Every song they sang, like, was beautiful, was great, hit every note. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. But I feel like when I heard that, like, they were opening, I was expecting, like, a Wicked medley that was more so from the movie. I get Home and Cynthia and, The Wiz and her singing it. I get, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. We get that from, Wizard of Oz. But it was kind of just like, I don't know. I felt like it was very, like, we're doing a slow song. This is very serious. We're all sitting. And I wanted to see what is this feeling choreography in person, okay? I wanted to see, I literally, it was funny because me and Julia were like, oh my God, what do you think it's going to be? And we both agreed we thought it was going to start off with Madame Maribel, whatever her name is, singing like the intro to Wizard and I. It was then gonna go into Wizard and I, which was then gonna
full play.
We wanted a medley, and then it was gonna go into like not the whole Wizard and I, but a little bit of Wizard and I. And then it was gonna go into What Is This Feeling? We both have them there. Then it was gonna go. It was 12 minutes. It was 12 minutes, and then we have a little bit of Popular, and we end with Defying Gravity. And I was just kind of like,
you wanted them to be in costume for real.
Yeah, I was expecting what they do for the Tonys, and what they do for the Tonys is that like they put them in costume and they do like a medley of it, and they have a shorter time for the Tonys. They don't have 12 minutes.
I just think it's because it wasn't the Tonys.
Maybe that's it, but that's what I was expecting. And so when I saw that, I was just kind of like, it obviously was fantastic. Like I said, it doesn't take away from them. It's more so my expectations just were not met. That's really it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was cool. I thought it was, I think I just like to see people perform and like see how they do. It's just like we're just all on the edge of our seat. Like,
I mean, I knew that she was going to hit the note. This is a Broadway girly. Broadway girlies hit the notes 3 times a day,
Both of them. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I just am like, how is this going to go? Like, I don't know, whatever.
I just feel like Broadway people, they're trained to hit that note twice a day for 7 days a week. They're not missing it. So it's just like there was no world where she was going to miss the note in any way. She goes to Broadway. Like, she knows. Like, the level of training they went through, I'm sure was Broadway level, which was like this note. They probably practiced that note 50 times in a day. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're hitting this note and you're hitting it every night,
I mean, it didn't even look hard for her to hit
that that's note. What I'm saying. By the time it came to us, it was muscle memory. Yeah,
so I will say it's just, it does, like when I was watching it, it did kind of rub me the wrong way. I don't know. It's just like Cynthia being the person, like I guess just like the British Nigerian person that she is, and like singing like Home, and like I don't know, just being like such this Black American, these just really important things and moments, and it's just like, okay, I guess it makes sense. But I kind of agree with you that it's just kind of interesting how they're just like, they did kind of make it a little bit of like a black and white thing with
they
like,
absolutely did.
Like, okay, this is the white song, and this is the Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and then Home is that one. And so it was like, so then that was like, so then I was like, that is a truly Black American story if we're going to talk about the Wiz. And so it's just like, herein lies another moment that it's just like feels a little bit weird sometimes. So yeah, it's just hard for me to, I just still, I don't know. I do have a little qualm with Cynthia. I just still can't believe the Harriet Tubman thing is really what gets me. Like, I feel like that should be a movie that I like want to watch and like, just like can really see the Harriet Tubman story, and I just feel like it's not like I
Do you
just
feel that
can't.
way about Zoe Saldana too?
Yes, and that was the other person that I had on this
Okay.
list to talk
Just
about.
want to make sure.
Yeah, and I want to know what you think about that. I want to know
I
what you
didn't
think
see
about.
Amelia Perez, but I heard
did
it
not
was.
see
I
that as
heard it
well.
was very. It didn't hold anything to Wicked. I did hear that much. I also saw that a lot of Mexicans are very offended by it. I also saw that they thought that Selena Gomez's Spanish was horrible in it.
Selena Gomez was in that movie?
Yeah.
Or Zoe Saldana?
Yes,
Or
both.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's why she was at the Oscars. Selena Gomez, she was in that movie.
She always be there.
But she was also in the movie.
Okay, got
and
it.
so people were like talking about her Spanish as being like very just like the Americanized like version. I'll say that it rubbed me the wrong way that she won over Wicked. Like,
did you see her like addressing the press when they like asked
I
her
did,
about
and
that?
she said that Mexico wasn't at the heart of the movie, and that it was three women at the heart of the movie. She's, she didn't mean she doesn't want to offend people, but I'm just like, for the clips I saw of the movie, I was kind of just like,
Yeah, the
it
clips I
wasn't
saw
giving
were
anything
crazy.
to me. Yeah.
The clips, because it was just funny. Like, I think Soleil was like, "I think you would like this movie," and then like I heard like mixed reviews, and then I saw a clip, and I was just like, "I don't need to see that movie."
No,
Like,
like,
it was just weird. Like, I know that it surrounds like transgender people, and and it's like, I don't know. It just was weird to me. And it also was like AI written her apparently, and I don't know.
I just find it to be weird. But so yeah, I just felt like Wicked was snubbed. So hopefully at the next Oscars
Yeah,
they'll get,
that's what they're doing. They're giving them. They have another
they'll be sweep,
round.
yeah. But it's like
They just didn't want to
I
give them
felt
this time.
bad by that. But I mean, like I said, I have not much to say because I didn't watch it, and I didn't agree with some of the stuff I saw, so I was just like, whatever.
Yeah, I will say that you know just for what's on trial this week, just kind of going off of what we're just talking about, I told Alexis that I want to talk about like the concept of like they want our rhythm and not our blues, because I feel like a lot of these people, whether it's like Cynthia Erivo, I was about to say Nina Simone, Zoe Saldana, and of course just like white people in America, and
You know
everywhere.
what's interesting with them? Sorry, I
Mm-hmm.
was just thinking. It's like, but
Mm-hmm.
they do have to face our blues in the US by just being black people. It's like they might not want to, but it's like absolutely Cynthia Erivo has
Mm-hmm.
been treated differently for her being dark skinned, for her having like more African features, I would say,
Mm-hmm.
for not having long hair.
Just being a black person in
Zoe
the world.
Saldana in Hollywood being like, even though she's not the darkest person, being a black Latina, compared to Eva Longoria and the people they want to, like
Mm-hmm.
Sofia Vergara's. And so it's interesting because it's like they are people that absolutely have to deal with the blues. I think when I think about that saying, I think of people like the Kardashians who absolutely like cosplay, but literally at the end of the day, don't have to deal with black people's discrimination and all these other things.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. There's levels, there's levels to it, and I do feel like, I guess just what I mean by that, I just feel like because because of the disparaging remarks that Cynthia has made in the past, I just feel like there's a separation of Black American versus like, and even like with Zoe Saldana, just like, not wanting to like say that she's Black, and You know, so it's just like, okay, there's something about being Black or just like being Black American that they might look down on
Yeah,
and
they
try to
definitely
like
have internalized some stuff. Yeah.
distance themselves from. So I definitely, you know, that was just like a a way to get into this topic.
They definitely have internalized some stuff, and I think that it's something I've noticed specific. I mean, obviously Cynthia, but I feel like specifically with Zoe, I remember there were maybe like it was like 3 years ago where I had an awakening of like, oh, she's rebranded, because I mean, like, this is our girl from Center Stage who was playing a Black woman. This is our girl from fucking Drumline who was playing a girl in like the
A
stands.
Delta.
And yeah, and so it's just like very much came from like either playing strictly Black roles or like Black movies, you know, BET, like, you know, and was fine with that and maybe understood that she had to play the
Oh
game
my
and that
God,
this was
Bernie
her way
Mac
to come up,
movie.
right?
What's that movie
But
called?
I don't know. This is her
Bernie
way
Mac.
to come up. But my thing is like, I feel like 3 years ago, I feel like I remember having an awakening. I think she was on the cover of some magazine with, it was like a bunch of Latina women. And I feel like it's funny because I never thought of Zoe Saldana as
Oh,
a
guess
Black
who?
Latina until like maybe 3 years ago, and I just didn't know. And then she was like, I am Latina, and then she's always like, that's now her front, like that's where she leads with, and it's been always very interesting to me. But I also don't know anything about like the Afro Latina like experience or like their identity. Like I do have like a line sister who's Afro Latina. If you saw her, you would not know that. Like it would be like you would have to talk to her and get to know her. And I feel like she very much like celebrates her both of her cultures, but she definitely leads with I am a Black woman, but she's a dark skinned Black woman. So it's interesting. I would love to like
Yeah.
talk to someone about that.
Yeah, I agree. Especially, I would love to talk to Zoe about. Like, I'm just like, so are you like? Do you consider yourself like?
Like, what
I
do you
don't.
consider yourself? Like, if someone said she's a Black woman, would you accept it, or would you be like, no? Like you know, I wonder. And even
And I
just like,
mean, I
I don't
guess
know,
it
she's
kind of
so
makes
interesting to
sense.
me.
It's like, I don't know. I just feel like, and you correct me if I'm wrong because
I don't
you
know
went to school.
anything.
You went to school for this stuff. So like, if
I'll try my best.
if somebody like, I feel like Black, that term came about because like we didn't know where we were from, you know, like we like obviously like not white, but like we also just didn't know exactly where we were from. So like we couldn't say that we're, you know, Nigerian or Cameroonian. And so like the fact that Zoe does know where she's from is like saying Dominican, like I'm Dominican enough. You know what I mean? Because it's like implied that like she doesn't have to say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Black is a race, right? And I think that's something to always. I mean, again, the one thing I learned by getting this PhD is like I know nothing. Like you the more you learn, that you know like there's so much more you have to learn, and I feel like one thing though that I feel like is always true is that Black is a race, right? And so it's a phenotype. Like so she is a Black woman. Like phenotypically, she is Black.
What does
You know?
phenotypically Black look like?
Well, that's a really good question. So a phenotype is observable characteristics, right? It is an appearance. It is strictly based on appearance. And so it's just like in society that we have made for America, the US, Black people, I mean, are dark skinned with this is how we define Black. I'm not saying this is correct, but I'm saying typically we would call someone a Black person if they have dark skin, coarse hair, dark or like, you know, some type of hair that's not fine, right? That's not super fine and straight. That's typically it's black or brown. They have black or brown eyes. Like they phenotypically, appearance wise, look like what we would call Black. Cynthia Erivo is a Black person. That's not. It's not like she can't claim like Black is a race. You know what I'm saying? White is a race. You have to phenotypically fit in those categories. Those categories are socially constructed, right? These are categories that people
Is Hispanic a race?
That's a good question. I would say Hispanic.
Because I never know. Like when they ask that on jobs, it's
Mhm.
like, are you Hispanic or Latino? And then if you say no, then
Hispanic is an ethnicity. It's not
okay.
a race. But what I'm trying to say about Cynthia and Zoe is that, like, well, I
Sorry.
was going to say about race. Race is socially constructed. So it's like people came together and categorized this thing is
Mm-hmm.
black. So it doesn't matter where she's from. In the US, she is a black woman because she phenotypically fits the idea
Right.
of black, right? Same with Zoe
Mm-hmm.
Saldana. You can be a black person from anywhere, right? But she is
Mm-hmm.
still black because black is a race. Now, you're talking about, like, she can pinpoint where she's from, right?
Like I guess her ethnicity.
Right. You're pointing to this is like, I just want to make sure I'm getting my words right. She is a person from Nigeria, right? And Nigerian is not necessarily ethnicity, but it's a country full of different ethnic groups, right? So she
Mm-hmm.
probably can go even further if she wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, just because someone can pinpoint from where they're from does
Doesn't
not
take
erase
away.
the fact
Yeah.
that
They're black.
exactly, their race, right? And so
Got
it's just like, she checks off black just like all of us on our fucking census. She's a black person when it comes to, if they're asking
Mm-hmm.
about race. And so
Interesting.
it's interesting because um
So yeah, you're right. So it does more so apply to like the Kardashians where they are not checking off they're checking off Caucasian.
but want black culture. But I will say, I would love to talk to Cynthia or Zoe about race, because a lot of it might I mean, a lot of people would probably say that they have internalized some stuff about what it means to be black in America, and they don't want to be associated with that social construction of
Mm.
it, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um
Yeah, that makes sense. I do feel like, yeah, I don't know why. I truly something about the Harriet Tubman of it all is just like that role is just so important. And I don't know. I just wish that I need to watch the movie. Maybe after I watch the movie I can have a better reaction, but I do have a reaction of like not really feeling I feel the like ingenuineness of it when I start it. Like just like
mhm.
how I would with and not exactly how I would with the Nina Simone movie with Zoe Saldana because she was ridiculous and getting a prosthetic nose and like, doing blackface basically. But I feel like yeah, I
Lord.
just feel like I had
She's
that
lucky she
same
came out of that unscathed. If that happened now, she would
hello.
get canceled. But now she's thriving. She just won an Oscar. She's an Avatar till 50. You know, it's
Oh
like
my gosh,
the woman is.
she was gonna be fine regardless. But even that, I'm just like, we still need a Nina Simone movie. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, we
yeah,
cannot just let that be the one. Like, just like
yeah,
with Harriet Tubman, I really feel that way
absolutely.
because I'm just like, again, I haven't seen either of those movies, but I just feel like specifically, I probably will never watch the Nina Simone movie unless I
Me
like
either, girl.
literally like
Bye.
want to do research and laugh and like just see what the hell this is.
Girl, her hair was so fine. She had to put on a coarse wig, like a afro wig. Like, you could have used me with my real fucking hair curly, but
Yes,
instead, you literally had to put a wig on this girl because her hair doesn't get like that. Like, that's embarrassing.
and sat through all that makeup every day. Like I'm
Yeah.
just like, what are we doing? Like I would like the amount of times that you have to put on makeup for movies. It's just like crazy. Anyways,
Let's move
let's
on.
move on. What else is on trial, Alexis?
You tell me, girl.
Okay, so something that else like happened at the Oscars that I just want to point out. Did you see how Tiana Taylor did her hard launch for
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Pierce?
Her new boo. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm happy for her, but it's funny because I saw a picture or I saw like a tweet or whatever the fuck we see these days. I'm like, on X.
You saw something.
Something that was just like, this is a great year for bisexuals or whatever, like about that picture, you know, just like kind of like joking that they just like both see like two bisexual people.
That's probably why they get along.
All right. And so, and like, you know, obviously like that's not confirmed on his side, but it just, you know, whatever, it was a joke. But it just, I feel like I think about this often too, but like it just made me think about just dating and how just men are. And I texted Alexa, I was just like, I wish I was like gayer, because being attracted to men is just, it is really not fun. Like, you know, like I mean, and not saying that, you know, I'm not saying that you can't get your heart broken with a woman. I know that that is not the case. However, I just feel like I have just truly started to lose faith in men, and I feel like I'm feeling some reverse, like, you know, just like how people like feel like, oh, like I wish I could change, like, you know, my sexuality and like not like not like the same sex because, you know, the culture doesn't approve of that, whatever. I feel like that, and like the other way, I'm just like, damn, like it really, not saying that I ever believed that it was a choice, but I'm just feeling like, oh, like I wish that I wasn't attracted to men in the way that I am. Like I really kind of, and like when you came back from your trip and you're just like, I'm so grateful that I'm gay, like that I don't have to deal with these men,
or just even just be in the mindset of a straight person, because they were like, it was more just, it wasn't like the men were
decentering
bad. Yeah,
just, exactly. Yes. So yeah, that was just something that I thought was like would be an interesting thing to talk about. Just like, I wish that I was gayer. Like, but like that is
yeah, it's unfortunate. Men are just disgusting. I mean, I literally was just I was like so disappointed in men today because I don't know, this was probably a couple weeks ago. Do you know who Anthony Edwards is? He's a basketball player. He plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's really good. He's 23, and he got a 34-year-old woman pregnant. Her name is, it's either Asia or Ayesha, and she's like a, you know, one of those like just, you know, baddie girls, you know, like, and she's 34 and she got the baby pregnant, and she basically leaked their text message.
Got the baby
pregnant. Anthony Edwards
she got her pregnant by him.
Yes, and she leaked the text messages between them last week, basically because she's trying to take him to court to get child support and to just get him more involved. Like, and he basically said in the text messages, like, abort the baby. And she was like, well, no, I don't want to abort the baby. This was last year because her baby's now born. And she was like, no, I don't want to abort the baby. And he was like, well, I'm not, like, I hate you then, because like this baby's not gonna have a father. Like, I'm not going to be in this life, at all. I don't want the kid. I'm not going to be in this kid's life. And it was interesting because, mind you, he has a kid already. He has a daughter already, but that he claims. But it was so weird because, and mind you, he has this girl, like multiple children that he's done this with, like people he's done this with, where it's like, I don't want anything to do with this kid. And so now this baby, the court documents got leaked today, where he's like went to court with her because she obviously took him to court, and he was like, I'm not requesting visitation, I'm not requesting custody, it's just a like financial matter at this point, like literally, like I'm gonna have nothing to do with this baby. And it was interesting to see like people's talking about it, because some people were like, well, shame on the mother, because he said he didn't want the baby, so she shouldn't have kept the baby, and so this is her fucking fault, she has to deal with it. And then there were people on the other side being like, okay, but men have to be fucking responsible for having unprotected sex. Like, you have to understand that this is a risk you're taking when you fucking have unprotected sex. And if you're accepting that risk when you're doing it, then you have to accept the fact that they might keep the baby, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting though, because the majority of people that were on his side being like, men and women being like, well, he told you what it was up front, so shame on you for keeping the kid. And so I was just kind of like, men are disgusting. Like, it's just
Well,
like
my
you go
question.
around just like having
Mhm.
unprotected sex and just and then feel like the audacity, feel
Oh my
emboldened
god!
to literally
Don't
just
even
be
get
like,
me
well, I'm
started
not
on
gonna have
that.
nothing to do with it. And
Oh
that's
my
fine.
god!
Not be embarrassed, not be shamed.
I
Like, just
mean,
that's fine.
that reminds me of, and I'm going to circle back to a thought, but that reminds me of that, sadly, that story about the mother who was homeless
Yeah, I saw that. The
and
babies
her,
froze.
yes, and her
Mm-hmm.
baby daddy could be, he could care less
It's really
about
sad.
like all of that, which is just insane. Um, I was gonna ask, like, I'm curious, was the conversation, because I know this has been like a topic of conversation of like, why is the 34-year-old like with the 23-year-old? I'm like curious if that was like a part of people's
Oh, people were
reasoning.
definitely being like, she's praying, or just being
Okay.
like,
I'm sure, but I just wanted to ask.
or just being like, what does she expect? I mean, I'm literally just pulled up Twitter as you were talking, and literally, I didn't even search it. The first thing that comes up is a picture of him and her, and somebody retweeted it and said, "Once a nigga give up his parental rights, he's serious. While he's a clown, she's a clown too. Really having babies by
Oh
men who
my
don't want
god.
them. Spare me. He should have used protection. Enough is enough.
What?
Women have contraceptives too. Our children do not deserve to grow up like this." So it's interesting though, because a lot of the narrative is that like she is
Mm, mm, mm,
creating a
mm.
broken home, but in reality, she had unprotected sex, and then she was willing to, she was willing to continue to raise the kid. And my whole thing is that just because a man doesn't want a baby does not automatically mean that the
Heck
woman can no
yeah.
longer have the baby. Two people are in that are in this situation. And
Yes.
to me, at the end of the day, I don't care how old you are or any of that. I will never take the side of someone who is rich and has all the
Mm.
privileges in the world. This man, I think this man literally has a deal with Nike, 60 million deal with Nike. He has the NBA salary. Somebody with that level of privilege and financial like privilege, that I'm not going to take the side of him who's willingly just saying I'm having nothing to do with this kid because I don't want it. That to me is the most disgusting part, and that people are understanding that. I just don't understand that. I just can't.
Yeah, I I feel like it is definitely like, it's just sad. First of all, I just feel bad for this child. Like, damn. Like, yeah, it's just like this person. I do feel like, not that I agree with any of what they're saying on the internet, because that is ridiculous. Like, if this baby is here in this world and living out here, and you are, like you said, established, and even if you're not, you need to show up for that child. Like, you need to get a grip. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, accept, the
The consequences,
consequences and
right?
show up for that child. Like, that is the responsibility, regardless. Like, period. I feel one thing that I will say is just like, I don't know. I just feel like a 23-year-old, that is, and not saying that they're too young, because obviously he already has a child, but it's just like, that type of mindset is just so crazy. Like, I'm looking at this boy and he just looks young minded.
Mm-hmm.
And I am just kind of looking at her like, were you trying to, like, I do feel like women can be predatory. Like, I'm not saying that they can't. And I feel like, sadly, I feel like if she was, having some of those intentions behind sleeping with him, you know, whatever. I just feel like
we don't
that's just
know, but
unfair to the
it's
baby.
unfair though to the baby, but it's also I just feel like it's unfair to women
It's unfair to women. I
always
agree.
have the narrative that like
I
you're
just am
trapping a
saying that
man
the
or like
33, we gotta be equal though, Alexis, because
absolutely.
if it was a 34-year-old man and a 23-year-old, it
I
would
mean,
be.
this is the thing. I feel like 23 to me, I'm not saying you're like I would to me, I feel like at 23 you're I mean, at 23, I was a teacher. Like at 23, I was in charge of 26 kids. Like it's just like to me, it's like 23 is not a baby. And I'm not trying to say like obviously there is like what an age gap there, an 8 year, what is that, 8 year age gap?
It's like 9 year, right? If he's 23 and
20,
she's 34.
Oh yeah, 9. Yeah. 9 year age gap. But I'm like, I don't want to I feel like I don't want to make it seem like he's a baby. At 23, I had a hell of a responsibility. And so it's just
I
like
just am curious
people,
how
and
you
we're
would
talking
feel.
about sex, okay? We're not talking about like, they're expecting him to like I said, be a teacher and be responsible for other people's lives or anything. We're just talking about use protection. And if you're not going to use protection, fucking
Yeah.
like we're not asking that much of a load for both of them. That it's like if you are going
I mean,
into having sex without protection, that you then would be understanding that this might lead to a baby. That's all we're saying. And if it does lead to a baby, that you step up. Okay.
I agree with that. I just think about, I just am thinking about the mindset of a woman being around a guy that is just immature as fuck. Like, I don't know.
Sucks.
It's just, yeah.
And who knows if this was even like, I don't know the nature of the relationship. Like, this could have been you saw each other at a club and y'all fucked after. Like, you know what I'm saying? This could have also been like we were dating and you were just around. I don't know what the nature of the relationship was. This could be that he just saw her, thought she looked good, and hit it. Like,
I just want to make space for just that, like, just not. It's not about. It's not about the baby. It's not like say they didn't have a baby. Like it still is weird for me when there's just obvious, like with Drea and that other child. Like, I don't know. It just is weird for me.
It's definitely weird, the age gap, but I guess for me, it's like, these are people at the end of the day, like, there's no at the end of the day, there's no world where the power dynamic of being a man and then money trumps just age. You know what I'm saying? It's like at the end of the day, it's like for me, it's like, yes, we can acknowledge that there's an age gap, but the power imbalance is still more so heavily on him. Like, he is a multi-millionaire. He can do a lot of influence with that. He's also a fucking man. Like, that doesn't, to me, like, Alexis, age. I'm not saying, and the age difference is also not like, if we're being honest, it's not egregious. This is not like an 18-year-old with a 30-year-old.
I'm saying, but if we're having that conversation about, I'm not saying, not like taking out their specific age difference, whatever, just in general, because even people were talking about rest in peace to Angie Stone, who sadly passed away.
What's his name?
In a car accident this week, and I've been listening to her music. Like, oh my goodness.
D'Angelo?
Yeah, so like that's been a conversation too of like, he was like 18, I think.
So that's egregious to me. Like, being 18, there's a difference. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there was a complete mind shift difference in my mind at 23. At 23, I was living alone in Milwaukee every day, having to care for 26 people. At 18, I was in college. Like, I think that is gross. I think that there's something weird about being 30 and wanting to be with an 18-year-old. Absolutely. Yeah. If that's the age.
I want to see the Drea thing. Because
he's in his 20s, I know for sure.
I will say, I don't feel like, okay, I'm not going to sit up here and act like there are not women that are, looking for a come up. I'm sorry. Like,
I mean, of course,
those people do exist.
Of course. And so, but I don't know if that's her.
But I'm not talking about her. I'm just talking about in general with these age gap, different relationships of like a Drea and whoever the hell she had a baby with. Like, I do feel like, yeah, so Drea is 39 and he is 22. Like,
he's younger than Anthony Davis. I mean, Edwards.
Yeah, like, I feel like there is a level of, because I think with age, I'm more so think about experience of like when we talk about Beyonce and Jay-Z, I'm just like, you have been an adult for a long time. You know how this goes. You know what men want, and you're dealing with a child, like, somebody that is really young. Like, you're the first bad bitch that he's getting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can see how that could lead to, having a child and linking yourself to that person. I'm not going to say that doesn't
Wait,
exist.
connect it to the Beyonce and Jay-Z thing again? I'm confused.
Well, just like I think about, when I think about their age difference, I think about how I more so think about his experiences. He's had a lot more experiences than Beyonce, so he's coming with more knowledge to be able to manipulate and play with, and just even like doing little manipulative shit that's like really gonna hook somebody in. And I do feel like, somebody like a 22-year-old, 23-year-old dealing with a 39-year-old, 35, even 35. Like,
the tricks aren't working because he literally was just like, I just hit it.
But what I'm saying is like, but it did though. Like,
no, he doesn't give a fuck. He's not he's not giving any of his time.
I know, but
he doesn't care. That's the thing. He's willing to give the money.
Getting a check. Like,
yes, but he doesn't give a damn about that. That's the thing. It's like,
does she care at the end of the day? Like,
she tweeted being like, look, I will be a good singer. She's like, she literally tweeted the other day, or maybe it was today, being like, anyone can be a father, but being a great parent or a great father is being someone who's there, and he clearly is not going to be that, so I'm fine with him being nothing.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. All I'm saying is, like, it's funny how we got here, because I was like, how did we get here?
Yeah,
we were talking about men.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I'm not going to say I don't feel like there's a predatory thing, because I just think about like Talon.
I don't know.
Talon is 22. No, Talon's 22. If he started dating even a 32-year-old, I would be looking at her like,
we would be looking at her weird, but that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't think these people were dating. Like, she definitely doesn't call him dating, and he definitely doesn't call her dating. I think they literally saw each other. I think this was like a one-time thing. They saw each other at a club. They fucked. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I get
nothing
that.
more. Like,
I maybe that was the case, maybe not. Even that, though, I still just feel like it's a little weird. But I know people. I know
definitely weird. That's definitely weird.
A one night stand of that, whatever. Like, I remember on Insecure. Remember what's her name?
Yeah.
Molly's ass.
I mean, it's definitely weird, but I guess in my mind, it's hard for me.
I just really wonder if it was that. Were they dating?
Gender being less of a power dynamic than just age.
It's not that, Alexis.
I think he has some influence too, is what I'm trying to say, and power, and we see that, and the fact that he can literally have the baby and say, fuck off. You know what I'm saying?
He can, but like, what I'm saying is,
and hand out money,
financial support.
He doesn't give a damn. He's giving out not about candy.
But she'd care. Like, that's what she wanted. Like, like, she's gonna be
yes,
good.
If you have a baby with someone, you have to financially provide. Period.
Alexis, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, I just don't want to discount, like, I don't know, like, because if financially wasn't a part of this conversation,
you're saying if he wasn't rich,
yes,
okay, he would I would still say the same thing. He needs to pay. He has to.
Not that Alexis, of course, you have. I think that if you lay down with the person and that creates a baby, you need to show up as a father, like, period, like, emotionally, financially, spiritually, all the things. But what I'm saying is that now I'm like, I don't know what I was saying. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. All I'm saying is that I do feel like in that case, it's crazy, because I came on here today to to talk shit
She's
about
a man
men.
defender, y'all.
Yeah, I'm like, I came on here.
She loves men. We're seeing it now.
I came on here to talk about how men like should start off with not having access to their dicks, and like
this is my
like,
thing.
they need to like get permission because they're whatever. Yes, I do feel like that. I feel like sadly capitalism turns most like people very predatory, and you know, a come up is real. Like we know this stuff is real. Like, and I'm not saying that you know, this did not produce a real child that he should show up for in that way. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's just funny because I didn't like this age thing is really
I just feel like any two people that have sex unprotected must understand that you can have a baby from it, and if you are okay with that being a possibility, then proceed. If you're not okay with it,
D'Angelo and Angie Stone,
what about them?
They had a baby. Like, is that okay?
I think it's weird that an 18-year-old would be. You said it was 18, right?
I'm pretty sure. Let's see.
I think it's weird that a 30-year-old something woman would have unprotected sex at 18. But I do think at 18, I 100% knew that if I had unprotected sex, that could lead to a baby. And I think if you are at, well, let me just finish my thought. I was just going to say, if you are of an age, we're talking in a legal situation. So I'm not talking like rape. I'm talking like in a legal situation where two people of sound mind had sex unprotected and knowingly knew that led to a kid. They should, and they're okay to, and if they're okay to accept that consequence, then proceed. If you don't want to accept that consequence, then get on fucking something. Period. I think that any adult.
I agree.
No, I'm not saying you're not agreeing. I'm just saying in general, this is my stance on it. Like,
I know, but I don't think you're arguing the point that I'm talking about. I think you're just arguing about like
our age difference. Weird.
No, I think you're talking about just people having sex should
what
like
are you
accept
talking about then?
Should accept having a baby. Like, yes. Yeah. I am just saying in terms of a power dynamic.
Do I think that it's present with age? Is that what your question?
Yes. Like
I've said that before. I've said of course.
I'm just saying like in terms of responsibility, because that's what we're talking in terms
Does the older person have a responsibility to what?
Is there like with specifically with and rest Angie Stone's soul, because you know I respect her and she is a legend, but you know I think these are important conversations to have.
Yeah.
And so yeah, she was 19 and he was, let me see, she was 30 and he was 19. Do you feel, because you're talking about power and influence and like,
yes.
Or, you know, so, and I want to make sure.
So what's the question? Do I feel
listen, what? Alexis, I'm about to say it.
Okay.
I'm saying like, because I want to make sure that I see how easy I feel like it's for you to just like kind of see women on one side and like not see.
No, you know, that's not the case.
Because I feel like it's, I don't know, like Angie Stone having a baby with a 19-year-old.
It's gross.
D'Angelo, I feel like it's just like, it's a similar conversation. And it's like, yes, if D'Angelo started to be like, I'm not going to take care of this baby, like whatever. Yes, like that's fucked up. I agree. I think that, again, two people are responsible for taking care of a child and bringing it into this world, regardless of the circumstances, except for, you know, rape and things like that. But I just feel like,
what's the question?
Do you feel like like that could have happened with the Anthony Edwards situation? And
so is the assumption that Angie Stone preyed on D'Angelo? Is that what you're saying?
I'm asking you, like, would you say that?
Would I say that D'Angelo? I mean,
Yeah, would you say that that's like
Angie
was
Stone, and they had a baby. You're saying?
yes. Family.
um,
Andy Stone was 30 and he was 19.
I mean, I'll say it was I mean, yeah. I mean, I think teens are different to me. Like that, like I think 19, 18 is totally different than a mindset of a 23-year-old. I also a 23-year-old who is probably in his dick suck every second. Like, you know, who's probably very irresponsible when it comes to having, I mean, like I told you, this is one of, I think, 4 women who he has done this to outside of the one kid he claims. So it's just like, it's hard for me to like, yes, I would say that it is disgusting and completely weird that a 30-year-old wants to be with a 19-year-old. We could probably call it praying, especially if we see when they started talking and shit. Like it's gross. But not but period. I think it's hard for me. It's hard to liken that to this experience because this is all alleged, but like allegedly this is what he does. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's irresponsible. He has sex with
Mm-hmm.
people he wants unprotected, and he's when they get pregnant, he tells them to get an abortion. And who knows the countless and many that probably did.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Oh my
saying?
God. I'm
And
sure there's
then
a long list.
and then there's the people that said, no, I'm keeping the baby. It's hard for me to be sympathetic to that because at a certain point, there has to be like a
And I
responsibility thing.
agree. If that would have happened even with D'Angelo, if he's like, I'm not taking care of this kid or whatever, I think that would have been.
But regardless, I do think it's weird that I mean, I'm 32 and I don't want to be with a 23-year-old, or 19 or 18. So these women definitely are strange, you know?
Yeah, like that's just a part of it for me too. Like, yes, okay, if it was a
But
one
I
night
guess for me, I'm not
stand,
willing to get hung up on that only because I
not
think there's more
only,
things present
no,
here.
not at all. I
Mm-hmm.
agree, 100%. I agree. Like, there is a whole culture of men doing this. Period. We just talked about the guy who literally was like, no, like they can't come over your own kids, and they're freezing in a car. Like, what the fuck? Like, that shit is a sickness and it plagues our community and it's not funny. Like, it is that serious, like you were saying, like, and it as simple as that. Like, you know the consequences when you lay down with somebody and have unprotected sex, and you need to show up, like, regardless of whatever. Like, you can't just make somebody have an abortion. Like, you could have just not had sex or used a condom.
Yeah. Or
Anyways,
just gotten on the pill or
or
whatever, you know? It's like there's so many things.
yeah, there's so many
But I
things.
guess it's like, yes, I think you're absolutely right. Not like I think that's what I'm saying. It's more to the conversation. It's like the age is on the fucking table, but I don't think it's the only thing on the table. And I think if someone's going to use the age as the only reason why he can't be present and where he shouldn't be present, it's
Mm-mm.
strange. I'm not
He
saying you're
should be
doing that, but I'm
present
just saying I'm
regardless.
seeing that where people are being like, but what was she thinking? It's like that is on the table, but there's so many other things on the table.
Oh
And the
my
fact that like
God.
the money
Once the child is
situation.
here, that's the only focus.
And
Like,
I
you
think
know?
I think we're seeing the like level of his power where the whole narrative is not about canceling him. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
The
And
narrative
that
is
is
about her
more
being a
and
hoe.
that is more so what I am trying to get at when I talk about just being disgusted at, just like you said, like the conversation, like what people allow, pick me women who make excuses for men and their behave, like you said, like you said, like that the narrative is that. I feel like it was a good conversation to kind of dig into, because I do feel like I do, like, genuinely, I just feel like this is like a human thing. I do think to myself, I'm not going to make a video about it and put it up on TikTok, but I do think to myself, I'm just like, damn, girl, like, you were 34, like, what are
Mm-hmm.
you dealing with this knucklehead,
Mm-hmm.
like, just that's a thought that grows across my head.
Yes, I agree. I think it goes
And
across everyone's head, but then it
but
should
it's
go
also,
further. Yeah, the thought should keep
yeah,
going
it
further.
should keep
Mm-hmm.
going, and you
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't blast that you shouldn't be a part of, like, making that the narrative and dogpiling on a woman that is just trying to take care of a child that this person co-created with her.
Yeah, and I just really feel, and you probably feel this way too. just because there are two people make a baby and two people's voices go into, I mean, to me personally, two people make the baby, but I really feel like, yes, men have a say, but at the end of the day, the person who has to carry the baby, to me's voice trumps
Yes.
everything.
Period.
And I think it's weird when some people were like, well, he told you he didn't want the baby, but what if she wanted
Mm-mm.
it? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, there's no room for if she
Once
wanted it.
it's
It's just that
conceived.
he didn't want it, so why would you keep it? And I
Yes.
feel like that's strange to me because it completely makes her desires for whatever she wants to do with her body and the baby completely invalidated
Yeah.
because he didn't want it.
And especially when he does have the means. You know what I'm saying? Like, even like she's giving him the opportunity to be a father. You know, I'm having this baby because I'm like acting like I'm pregnant, like I'm having this baby. But yeah, it's like I want to have this baby for it's in me.
It's in me. I don't want to go through any procedure that might put my life at risk.
I don't want to have surgery.
Right,
I'm having this baby. That's
exactly. And I just feel like that's completely valid. And it's so weird because a lot of people I'm seeing are being like, well, he didn't want it, so, and it's just like, and what is he fucking God? Right. Why is he? What does that mean?
It's also like, yes, like, okay, and
I wanted it, so
I'm giving you, right, it's just like, I wanted it, and I'm giving you the opportunity to show, like, you know, now it's on you to decide if you want to be a father, exactly, between you and God and this child, like what you're gonna decide to do once this baby is here. I'm just telling you that I'm not going to that doctor to go do that. You know what I'm saying? And that I completely agree. Like, once the baby is created and inside of me, like, I have a final say. Like, that's just,
somebody was just like they were like, in 30 years when he's like interviewed by ESPN, because he's a fantastic basketball player, and they bring up this, how embarrassing. Like, you know, it's just like, you're gonna be 58 knowing that you have multiple kids out in the world who never got to have a father, and that's gonna sit okay with you, and you're just, and I'm like, and if at 50 you're still thinking, well, I told her I didn't want it even though I nutted in her or whatever, it's like, you are embarrassing. Grow up.
Absolutely.
Grow
and
up.
That is a mindset that is disgusting and needs to be eradicated from, you know, like, I mean, I feel like I'm probably a little conspiracy theory. Like, I feel like men need to be the ones that get their, what is it when they can
vasectomy.
Yes, getting a vasectomy. Like, I think that should be much more common. Like, the fact that they can reverse it, like, whatever. And I do kind of feel like those theories of like men, like all men should just like start in a facility like away from women. Yes, like something like that. But I just, yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. We need to wrap it up. We have more stuff to talk about. We'll talk about it next week.
No, Alexis. This is our 100th episode.
Girl, I gotta go.
Can we do 10 more minutes?
Fine.
Yes, Alexis.
At 9 o'clock, I'm leaving.
I was ready at 7. Okay.
Yes, and then I said 7:30, and then what
happened?
And then it sounds like at 7 o'clock.
And then I'm a manager.
Call, okay?
No, I wasn't on the call then.
But you would have probably had to stop and pick up the phone.
No. I would have had to ignore it then.
Oh, really? You would have ignored it? That's good to know.
I would have probably texted with them and tried to whatever.
Well, that's good to know. You'll
I did answer the phone, and it was a work call. So,
like I said,
anyways, let's get to it. Alexis, you wanted to talk about this hairdresser. I'm sure it's not going to be, a hot topic next week. So what happened?
We shall see. Maybe she'll be in jail by then.
Oh God.
Basically,
our year episode is
crazy. There's a hairstylist in the DMV. Long story short, she had a 15-year-old come to her salon when she was done getting her hair done, which was a half up, half down, up like hairstyle. When it was time to go, it was time to pay. The 15-year-old girl had her brother Cash App her. it's been alleged that either the Cash App that he sent the money to the Cash App that was on the girl's business page. However, we know how these Instagram and TikTok fucking hairstylists are, where nothing is correct and up to date on their fucking websites. So it's been alleged that either the Cash App on her website was wrong and he sent it there, or he mistakenly sent it to someone else. Regardless, whatever one happened, she didn't get the money. So at that point, she wouldn't let the girl leave. The girl then left. She then ends up grabbing the girl by her hair, dragging her down the steps, dragging her into the and back into the salon, very violent, and telling the girl to remain there until she paid her. The girl offered for her mother to send a Cash App, but it would take 2 weeks because her mother would be able to send the money then. The girl said no. It then ends with the lady realizing that she has this girl's card on file and she can just literally charge the card on file. Since then, the hairstylist, she said that her, she thought the girl was 18 because her website states that she only accepts 18 or older. However, that has been debunked and seen as a lie, in the sense that only through 3 days ago it said 13 plus and has been saying 13 plus for the past year, but allegedly 3 days ago it now turned to 18 plus. It seems like she's trying to cover her tracks. So people have then been debunking that. And so there's been a lot of conversation on Black Twitter, I would say, about like, is the hairstylist in the wrong? There have been people saying that she's absolutely not in the wrong because the girl should have had the money when she was ready. And, what is she supposed to do with her business? Just to let the girl run off? Like, this is, it's fucked up that she would not pay. And so she had all the right to put her hands on, again, this is an 18-year-old business owner putting her hands on a 15-year-old girl. Then there's people on the other side being like, it doesn't fucking matter. This is a minor. And also, it doesn't matter how old the age was. This is not how you handle fucking business, honey. Like, are you kidding? And so I do want to say this tweet, though, because I feel like this encapsulates how I feel. And then I want to hear your thoughts really quickly. So I follow this girl named Jamila. She's on TikTok. She's very funny.
Oh, yeah, I like her.
Yeah,
I didn't see the TikTok.
So somebody tweeted, I'm very confused on why everyone is on the client side. 15 years old or not, you don't steal. Like, security at any store would have detained her as well. Y'all not living in real life. And Jamila retweeted and said, well, baby, I ain't never seen nobody get pulled by their hair for 40 yards for stealing at Target. And I'm like, that's exactly this.
Hello?
In no world is this normal. When people fucking take fucking candy from a store, they don't end up getting dragged and beat.
They tell them to not go after them.
Right. They call the police, file a claim, or they let them fucking go. This was $150 hairstyle.
It's giving how much it was.
Yeah, it was $150. It's giving broke. All this over $150. But yeah, what were your thoughts?
Very, very triggered. Yeah, I was appalled. I was very sad to see that it was a DMV stylist. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, it's not okay anywhere, but I'm just like, that could have been my little cousin. Like, that could have been anybody, and obviously anywhere. This just, like you said, it's just crazy to conduct business that way. I just think about myself and all my friends. Like, we've all made, appointments with hairstylists. I can't imagine being 15 years old and dealing with a payment situation and getting dragged down. Like, that is so traumatizing as a 15-year-old. And for her to just be so like, you're lucky I didn't beat your ass, and like, just like very just very feeling self-righteous in that moment, and like not thinking as a business owner. It's just like, yeah, maybe you aren't mature enough right now to have a business, because you cannot react this way.
I mean, not even maybe, you aren't, because you
cannot react this way.
I mean, literally, yeah, it's like I said, she has no motion. She clearly has nothing to lose. And because I'm just like, you're
18, baby. You could go to jail.
Anybody who has a business, a brand, clientele, and money on the line, like a livelihood, that they actually matters, but not put it in jeopardy over $150. I'm sorry, they wouldn't. And they also wouldn't ruin their reputation like that, because now she's all over fucking viral on Twitter, viral on TikTok in states that she doesn't even fucking work in, all over this, and she's now going to be known as the girl who fucking dragged a 15-year-old girl over $150. Don't try to get a license. Like, you would be completely barred. And so it's just like, all of this is screaming broke. It's screaming no motion. It's screaming. And I hope that you're not a fucking scaredy cat and you put a padlock on your door with the security system. Yo, you were big and bad to put your hands on a 15-year-old girl. Let whatever happens and be big and bad enough to deal with it. That's terrible. It's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, because it's like, it's obvious that you are not living in like reality, like real reality of like consequences of like, you know, what it means to own a business, what it means
you would
to
give Black people a terrible name. Like,
yes, but yeah, like you obviously just don't know. Like, you're not, like, you have sipped the Kool-Aid too much. Like we have said on this podcast. Yeah, like, this is not Bad Girls Club. This is not a Glorilla song. You know, like, this is real life, boo. Like, I told Alexis earlier, I'm like, we're calling all the people. Like, if that was my child or anybody related to me, we would be calling all the people.
And she was just like, and that's why I said I don't treat people under 18, which we know is a lie. But anyway, it's just like, what? Why does it matter if they're 18? Yes. So you can run a fucking fight club, bitch? Like, so
you want to drag my grandma?
Right, exactly. Why does the age matter? Don't put your fucking hands on people as a fucking business owner.
You can't, even not as a business owner. If you put your hands on anybody,
right,
you can't go to jail. Like,
you're 18, baby.
You have to grow up.
Right.
You have
to charges will be hurting a minor, like abusing a minor or whatever, assault on a minor.
And it's obviously that you have some type of goals. Like, you started a business. Don't ruin that because you are sipping the Kool-Aid of like, I need to protect. I need to like, oh, she's not gonna play me. You are losing it, baby. Like, you have to
just to grow up.
You have to stay in reality of like, this could all be over. Like, these young people, I'm telling you, like, it's sad because it's just like, this is real life, and you could end up somewhere.
She'll have to learn the consequences, but it's to me, it's just sick. I'm just like, this is embarrassing.
It is. I can't imagine. And the people on the internet that are saying that was okay. I am like, I do not want to live in the world that you want to live in, because that is,
I don't want to be
unacceptable. Anyways, y'all, we're gonna wrap it up. We have
1 year is done. On to year 2.
Yes,
and
lots of good stuff coming. Oh, I was gonna tell you, Alexis, I feel like it would be cool to put like a Google form or something in our bio, because I really do want to hear from our audience of just like what you guys want to hear more of. And I'm trying to think of what's the best way to get to our listeners, because I know like some of our listeners aren't like on social media and stuff. So yeah, probably not this week, but I'm gonna talk to Alexis about
brainstorming,
because we want to hear from you guys. We want to connect with you, our listeners, and we love you. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast for 52 weeks. If you've been listening for 52 weeks, I really fuck with you, okay? Absolutely. You a real one. You've been growing with us. We growing, baby. We growing.
You're a true bestie.
Yes. I love you guys, and I love you, Alexis.
Love you too, friend.
I'll be talking to you later.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Remember to email us your discussion topics at whoamitojudgepod@gmail.com. Also, remember to subscribe to Who Am I to Judge podcast on Spotify and everywhere you get your podcast. If you love us, please rate us and review. And if you don't, leave us alone. Tell a friend to tell a friend. See y'all next week. Bye, friends.